Soft hums drift through the void. A breath before creation, a silence before sound. There was once a place where dreams shaped the dawn, a realm untouched by time or memory. Here, the unseen mind of Morpheus weaved the first spark, the Dreamfire. It burned softly, not with heat, but with vision. It painted the sky of sleep. Every dream, every hope, every whisper of imagination came from this eternal flame. But even light can falter. Even a god can fade. When the Dreamfire dimmed, shadows crept into human minds. People slept but did not dream. They lived but did not see. In the stillness between worlds, a single spark trembled, waiting. Somewhere, a heartbeat echoed through the mist. It called to one who still believed in the unseen. Elara, a dream researcher, a seeker of forgotten visions. She did not know the flame would choose her. She did not know it had waited so long. Tonight, she would dream again, and the Dreamfire would awaken. For in every ending, there lies the shimmer of a beginning, and in that shimmer, Morpheus stirs. Night draped over the city like silk, quiet and breathing. The world outside was asleep, but inside a small apartment, Elara sat awake, eyes open, mind adrift between worlds. On her desk, monitors glowed with patterns of brainwaves and faint lines of light. She was not searching for data. She was searching for meaning. Every night she studied dreams, chasing their fragile architecture through science and silence. Her friends called it obsession. She called it purpose. Elara believed dreams were not illusions. They were messages from somewhere deeper. A voice beyond thought. A pulse beneath the mind. For months, she had followed the same subject, herself. Each night she recorded her own sleep. Each morning, she watched the rhythm of her own soul. And then came the night that changed everything. At first, the dream was simple. A field of mirrors beneath a violet sky. Each reflection shimmered with moving stars, bending to her breath. Then she heard it. A sound like no other. A melody rising from the core of nothingness. It was not made of notes, but of memory. Not heard, but remembered. It hummed through her bones, through the pulse of her sleeping heart. A song older than time, whispering her name. Elara, it said, softly, like wind brushing through glass. She reached toward the sound, and the mirrors cracked, spilling light into darkness. The world fell away, and she awoke. Her heart raced, but the melody still lingered, a residue of dream on her tongue. Then she saw it, on her wrist, a faint glow, like an ember hidden beneath skin. A circle of light, moving slowly, breathing with her pulse. She touched it. It was warm, alive. The mark pulsed once, and the air around her trembled, as if remembering. Every monitor flickered. Lines of data twisted into waves of golden color. She whispered, half in fear, half in awe. Dreamfire. For a moment, the flame brightened, then dimmed, sinking back into silence. Outside, dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky in pale gold. Elara sat still, staring at her hand, wondering what had chosen her. In that silence, something deep within the realm of sleep stirred. A watcher unseen, a whisper older than light. Morpheus turned in his eternal slumber, and the dream began to move again. The first spark had been found. The Dreamfire was rising. Sleep came swiftly that night, but it was not like before. It was deeper, wilder. Elara drifted through layers of shadow and silver mist, falling without fear. She felt the mark on her wrist burn gently, guiding her downward like a star. When she opened her eyes, she stood upon a bridge made of glass and light. Below her stretched a vast city, endless towers woven from dreams themselves. They shifted like memory, breathing softly, alive with thought. Somnara, a voice said behind her, calm and ageless. She turned, and there stood a man cloaked in twilight. His eyes shimmered with starlight. I am Kairos, he said, guardian of the veil, keeper of what remains. Elara tried to speak, but her words scattered like petals in the wind. Kairos smiled faintly. You have crossed the threshold, dreamer. Few ever do. She looked around. Streets of liquid glass, buildings bending to emotion. A whisper followed her every step, shaped by her own thoughts. This place, she breathed. It's alive. It is made of belief, Kairos replied. And belief is alive as long as someone dreams. They walked through the city. Shapes flickered. Memories of joy, sorrow, wonder. In one corner, a child's laughter built a fountain of light. In another, a broken promise formed a shadow that never stopped crying. Elara touched the air, and the world rippled in answer. Kairos watched her carefully. The mark on your wrist. The Dreamfire seal. It calls to the source, he continued. And it has chosen you. Chosen me for what? She asked. He paused, gazing toward the horizon where the dream sky trembled. The Dreamfire is stirring, he said softly. And with it, Morpheus himself. Elara felt her pulse quicken. The name echoed through her, half memory, half prophecy. The god of dreams? She whispered. Kairos nodded. Or what remains of him. His slumber keeps this realm alive. And if he wakes? She asked. Then everything changes, Kairos said. Dreams will no longer obey. They will become real. They reached a gate of golden mist, guarded by figures made of sleep and smoke. Kairos turned to her. You should not be here yet. But fate opens doors in silence. Elara stepped closer to the gate. The light pulsed in rhythm with her wrist. Will I see him? She asked quietly. Not yet, Kairos replied. But he feels you. The flame you carry has reached him. As she stared into the golden veil, a vision filled her mind. Endless stars collapsing into one heart of fire. Then, in that blaze, a whisper. Do not fear the dawn, for dreams burn brightest before waking. The vision faded. The city dimmed. Elara woke with tears on her face, her room cold and still. But in her heart, the city of Somnara lived, waiting for her return. Days passed, but sleep no longer brought rest. Elara's dreams flickered like broken film. Each night she caught glimpses of Somnara, distant and dim as if seen through smoke. The Dreamfire mark on her wrist pulsed faintly, whispering like a heartbeat beneath skin. Something was wrong, not just in dreams, but in the waking world. Students in her lab spoke of restless nights, of blank dreams and silent sleep. Poets forgot their words. Painters stared at empty canvases, their inspiration gone. It was as if the human race was forgetting how to dream. Elara watched the data scroll across her screens, waves once alive with color, now flat and pale. She whispered to herself, "It's fading. All of it." That night she lay down and closed her eyes, not in search of sleep, but of answers. The flame stirred again, soft and uncertain, pulling her through the veil. When she opened her eyes, Somnara was no longer shining. The glass towers had cracked, and the streets hummed with silence. Kairos stood waiting beside a pool of black water, his expression grave. "The sigil has shattered," he said. "The bond that once anchored dreams is breaking." Elara knelt beside the pool. Fragments of light floated on its surface, pieces of a forgotten symbol. "What caused it?" she asked. "The Dreamfire burns without balance," Kairos said. "Something or someone has disturbed the source." Elara picked up one shard. It burned her fingers with cold fire, whispering voices too faint to understand. She felt Morpheus's presence, vast, distant, aching. "He's still asleep," she said softly, "but he feels the fracture." Kairos nodded. "If the sigil breaks completely, his slumber will end in chaos, and dreams will unravel." Elara stood, the shard glowing in her palm. "Then I have to fix it." "You cannot mend a god's sigil," Kairos said. "It was woven from the first flame, from thought itself." "Then tell me how to reach it," she replied. "There must be a way." Kairos looked at her long, then spoke. "The path lies through the archive of echoes, the memory of forgotten dreamers. Find what was lost, restore what was broken. Only then can the sigil be made whole." Elara closed her hand, the shard pulsing like a heartbeat. Then take me there. Kairos's cloak shimmered. Be warned, Elara. The archive does not show truth. It shows reflection. Light swirled around them, pulling the city away, dissolving into shadow. Before the world vanished, Elara looked back once more at Somnara. The towers flickered like dying stars. The air trembled with silent voices. And in the distance, across the fractured horizon, she saw a shape begin to move. A shadow vast and slow, turning in its sleep. Morpheus was dreaming again, and the world trembled with him. Light unfolded around her like a breath. When Elara opened her eyes, she stood before the archive. It rose from a sea of stillness, a cathedral of memory carved from glass and echoes. Every wall shimmered with whispers, every step answered with forgotten voices. Kairos's voice drifted beside her, calm and distant. This is where dreams come to rest. Rows upon rows of shelves stretched into eternity, filled not with books, but with fragments of light. Each one pulsed softly, a dream once lived, now sleeping in the archive's care. Elara reached toward one. The moment her fingers brushed the glow, visions spilled into her mind. A child building castles in the sand, a woman dancing beneath a storm, a man writing his last song. Each image ended the same way, fading into white silence. She gasped, stepping back. They're all fading. Even their dreams are dying. Kairos nodded slowly. When the Dreamfire weakens, memory loses shape, the archive begins to forget. They walked deeper into the hall. The air grew heavy, filled with echoes of half-spoken words. On a pedestal in the center of the hall lay a single object, an ancient sigil, cracked and dim. Elara felt its pull. The symbol matched the shape on her wrist, but older than time itself. The seal of Morpheus, Kairos said. The heart of the first dream. She knelt beside it, tracing the cracks with trembling fingers. Can it be repaired? Only by remembering what it once meant, he said. The Dreamfire was never meant for control. Elara looked up. Then what was it meant for? For creation, Kairos answered. For wonder. For the courage to imagine what does not yet exist. A whisper rippled through the archive. The walls flickered, and a figure appeared. A woman made of starlight. Her voice was soft, but endless. You seek the source flame. Elara nodded. I need to restore the sigil, to save the dream. The woman smiled sadly. You cannot restore what you do not remember. The Dreamfire is memory itself. The figure touched Elara's forehead, and visions burst like sunrise behind her eyes. She saw the beginning, Morpheus breathing the first light into existence, giving humanity the gift of dream. She saw how humans used it to build, to love, to imagine, and how greed turned dream into desire. Then Morpheus wept and withdrew, sealing the Dreamfire behind his eternal sleep. Elara staggered back, breath trembling. He didn't take the Dreamfire from us. We made him hide it. Kairos's eyes softened. Now you understand the cost of creation. Elara looked at the cracked sigil. Then I must remind him. I must remind the world. The woman's form began to fade. Seek the Dreamforge. There, memory becomes light again. As her voice dissolved, the archive darkened. Shelves dimming like dying stars. Elara turned to Kairos. Take me there. He bowed his head. Then we go where dreams are born. The world folded into flame, and Somnara vanished in a whisper of light. The world unfolded in golden light. Elara stood at the edge of a vast horizon made of stars. Before her, the Dreamforge pulsed like a living sun, its surface swirling with memory and fire. She felt the warmth rise through her, ancient and infinite, as if the universe itself were breathing. Kairos stood beside her, silent, his eyes reflecting endless constellations. This is where all dreams begin, he said, and where they return when forgotten. Elara stepped forward. Each motion sent ripples of light across the surface of the forge. She could see shapes forming, fragments of dreams, hearts, and thoughts becoming real. It was creation itself, unbound by reason, painted by the pulse of the soul. "Can I use it?" she asked quietly. "To restore the sigil?" "You can," Kairos said, "but creation is never free. The more you forge, the more of yourself you give." Elara nodded. "Then I'll give what I must." She touched the Dreamforge, and light exploded through her hand. Warmth, color, sound, memory. The fire poured into her, showing her the forgotten beauty of the world. Children dreaming of wings, lovers imagining forever, artists shaping stars from silence. Each dream burned softly, then faded into her heartbeat. Her wrist glowed brighter, the Dreamfire seal now a circle of molten gold. She closed her eyes, focusing the flame, shaping it like clay. Slowly, piece by piece, she forged the broken sigil anew, light weaving through her thoughts. The fragments from the archive resonated, lifting from memory into form. Kairos watched, awe in his eyes. "You're remembering what was lost." But Elara trembled. Each thread of light drained her strength, pulling at her spirit. The fire was beautiful, but heavy, infinite, alive. She gasped, her voice thin. "It's too much." "Stop," Kairos urged. "You'll lose yourself to the flame." Elara shook her head. "If I stop, dreams will die. I can't." Her hair lifted in the heat, her eyes glowing with fragments of starlight. The sigil hovered before her, nearly whole, missing only a single piece. A voice rose from within the forge, deep, resonant, timeless. "Mortal flame, why do you forge what was never yours to hold?" Elara whispered. "Because you gave it to us. You wanted us to dream." The fire pulsed once, softer now. "Then show me your dream." Elara saw her life flash. Her first wonder, her first loss, her endless search for meaning. She reached out, placing her heart into the final fragment. The sigil sealed with light, complete, whole, alive. The Dreamforge trembled, its fire calming to a steady glow. Kairos stepped forward, awestruck. "You did it." Elara collapsed to her knees, exhausted but smiling faintly. The sigil floated above her, spinning, then vanished in a trail of gold. Somewhere far beyond, Morpheus stirred again, not in anger, but in recognition. The Dreamfire burned steady now, soft and eternal. Elara whispered, "Let there be dreams again." And the light answered, "So there shall be." The Dreamforge dimmed to a soft glow. Silence settled around Elara like falling ash. She opened her eyes to find Kairos kneeling beside her, his expression shadowed with concern. "You have restored the sigil," he said, "but the fracture runs deeper than light." Elara rose slowly, her hands trembling, the Dreamfire still burning faintly in her chest. "What do you mean?" she asked. Kairos looked toward the horizon, the dream sky rippling like water under storm. "The realms are bleeding into each other," he said. "Waking and dreaming are no longer apart." Elara gazed around. Shapes wavered at the edge of vision, trees made of thought, stars flickering through stone. The dream had begun to merge with reality. Somewhere far beyond, she could hear distant voices, laughter, whispers, cries, all overlapping. Dreamers lost between sleep and waking, unable to find their way home. Elara clenched her fist. "Then we have to fix it before the world forgets what's real." Kairos nodded, though his eyes carried sorrow. "To heal the boundary, we must find the source flame." "The Dreamfire's heart," Elara whispered, "the place where Morpheus still dreams." She looked at him. "You've known where it is all along." "I have," he said softly, "but only one who bears the seal may enter. And you are not yet ready." Elara's voice trembled. "Then teach me, whatever it takes." Kairos smiled faintly. "To command the Dreamfire is not to control it, but to surrender to it." The world shifted. Around them, the Dreamforge melted into mist, revealing a vast plain of stars. Elara floated weightless, her heartbeat echoing through the void. She saw memories drifting past her, not her own, but belonging to countless dreamers. Each shimmered with beauty and pain, like glass catching sunlight before breaking. Kairos's voice guided her through the silence. Every dreamer carries a spark of the source. Find them. Listen. Their memory is the path. Elara closed her eyes. She let go of fear, of logic, of control. And then, she heard them. Children whispering bedtime wishes. Lovers promising forever. The dying murmuring hope. Every voice became a note in an endless symphony, human imagination reborn. The dreamfire within her responded, pulsing brighter with each heartbeat. She gasped as visions formed, bridges of light connecting dream to dream. Kairos's voice trembled with awe. You're doing it. You're weaving connection. Elara smiled faintly. Dreams aren't meant to be possessed. They're meant to be shared. Light rippled outward from her chest, touching the horizon, restoring the trembling sky. For a moment, everything stilled. The chaos quieted, the merging slowed. But as peace settled, Elara felt something stir beyond the veil. Vast, ancient, and watching. Morpheus, she whispered. He's waking. Kairos turned toward the horizon, where a great shadow began to rise, luminous and slow. The time has come, he said. The dream is about to remember itself. Elara looked into the growing light and whispered, then let it remember gently. The dreamscape shuddered, and the world of sleep took a breath. The dream trembled like an ocean under storm. Light and shadow folded over one another. Elara stood at the edge of a vast field of shifting stars, the dream fire pulsing through her veins. Kairos's face was grave. He is waking, but not all welcome it. Figures emerged from the mist, guardians of the old dream, cloaked in silver and silence. Their eyes burned with calm fire, their voices echoing in unison. You've broken the law of balance. Elara faced them, steady but weary. I've restored what was lost. The sigil is whole again. The sigil kept the boundary, they replied. Your flame weakens the veil. It must be contained. Kairos stepped forward, his tone sharp. She carries the chosen fire. She is the reason dreams still breathe. One guardian raised a hand. And she is also the reason they may burn. The air thickened, shimmering with unseen force. The dreamfire inside Elara surged in response. She felt their fear, not of her, but of change itself. I don't want to destroy, she said softly. I want to awaken what's sleeping. The Guardian's leader, a woman of light, regarded her with pity. Awakening is not mercy, it is chaos. Elara took a step closer. Then maybe chaos is what we need to dream again. A hush fell over the field. The light in the Guardian's hands dimmed slightly. Kairos watched her, something like hope flickering in his eyes. The source flame cannot be restored by one, said the leader. It must be shared among many. Elara nodded slowly. Then we'll share it, all of us, every dreamer across both worlds. She closed her eyes and reached within, calling to the flame, not to command it, but to open it. The dreamfire responded like a heartbeat, spreading warmth through the air. It reached beyond her, through the veil of sleep, through the walls of reality. All across the waking world, people stirred in their slumber. Artists dreamed again. Children laughed in their sleep. Forgotten memories rose like dawn. The Guardians looked around in awe as the light touched them too, softening their forms. One whispered, "She's linking them, every dreamer to every other." Kairos smiled faintly. "She's making the dream whole." But the sky above them cracked with thunder. The power of the shared dream strained the boundaries. Elara staggered but did not stop. "Hold the connection," she gasped. "It needs all of us." Kairos and the Guardians joined her, their light intertwining with hers. The field blazed like sunrise, thousands of voices joining in harmony. Dreams once separate now formed one vast tapestry, glowing with unity and memory. The fracture began to heal. The veil shimmered with life again. Then, through the brilliance, a voice rose. Deep, ancient, endless. Elara. It was Morpheus, awake at last. His tone carried neither wrath nor sorrow, only wonder. You remembered the fire, he said. You remembered why we dream. Elara wept, her heart full of light. It was never forgotten, only waiting. The dream itself sighed, a sound like peace reborn. The light from the joined dreamers wove into a river of stars, flowing upward into infinity. Elara stood in the center, her body glowing with the warmth of every dream that had ever lived. Kairos watched in awe as the veil itself began to mend, its fractures turning into streams of gold. The bridge of light, he whispered. It's real. Elara felt her feet lift from the ground. The light carried her higher, gentle and weightless. Below her, the dreamers' voices merged into a single hum, a sound older than language. They were dreaming together, hearts synchronized across distance and time. This bridge leads to him, Elara murmured. To Morpheus. Kairos nodded, fading slightly, his form dissolving into luminescent mist. Then go, Dreambearer. Elara reached upward, the bridge unfolding before her like a song written in light. She walked, or floated, through the radiance, her every step echoing across eternity. Memories passed around her like constellations. Humanity's first stories, their laughter, their longing, all of it flowed toward the same point, the heart of the Dreamfire. Ahead, the light condensed into a great door woven from flame and silence. Elara hesitated, her breath trembling. If I enter, I might never return. A voice echoed behind her, Kairos's final whisper. Or you may return with the dawn. She smiled softly and stepped forward. The moment her fingers touched the door, it opened with a sigh, releasing waves of warmth and memory. Inside lay a vast ocean of light, calm and endless. And at its center, a figure. Morpheus, the Dream King, rested upon a bed of starlit shadow, his face serene, his eyes closed. The Dreamfire surrounded him, flickering with colors beyond mortal sight. Elara knelt before him, the glow of her wrist bright as sunrise. She spoke softly, her voice trembling. Morpheus, Lord of Dreams, the world has forgotten how to imagine. The flames stirred. The air shimmered like breath returning to life. Then remind them, came a voice, deep and melodic, echoing from every direction. Morpheus's eyes opened, dark, infinite, filled with galaxies. He looked at her, not as a god gazes upon a mortal, but as a dream regards its dreamer. You have carried the fire, he said, and shared it with all. Elara nodded, tears glimmering in her eyes. They're dreaming again. Together. Morpheus rose, and the Dreamfire lifted with him, expanding into endless light. The bridge you built will endure, he said, as long as hearts remember wonder. The bridge of light pulsed brighter, spanning across both worlds. Elara felt the warmth of millions of souls, dreamers, creators, believers, bound as one. Morpheus touched her forehead, gentle as dawn. You have awakened me, Elara, but now it is you who must wake. The world trembled. The bridge began to fade, scattering into shimmering dust. Elara whispered, Will I see you again? Morpheus smiled faintly. Every time you dream. The light enveloped her, soft and endless. Then, silence. And far away, the first morning light touched the waking world. The world awoke in silence. The kind of silence that comes before wonder. Elara opened her eyes to the soft morning light spilling across her desk. The hum of machines, the distant sound of traffic, the faint warmth of reality returning. But something was different. The air shimmered faintly, as if the dream had followed her home. She sat up, the weight of her journey still lingering in her chest. Her computer screen flickered to life. Images of the Dreamfire appeared. Not from memory, but real. Across the world, people were sharing stories they had seen in their sleep. Drawings of stars made of flame. Children describing cities of light. No one could explain it, yet everyone felt it. The dream had not stayed in the realm of Morpheus. It had crossed over. Elara smiled faintly. "You kept your promise," she whispered. Her wrist still glowed softly with the mark of the Dreambearer. Every heartbeat pulsed with quiet energy, a rhythm that matched the world's. In the streets, murals appeared overnight, colors blending like living flame. Writers penned stories they could not remember writing. Musicians composed melodies that came to them in dreams. The world was remembering how to dream again. Elara walked outside, the morning air cool and bright. Children laughed, chasing motes of light that flickered like tiny stars. An old man stood nearby, humming a tune that made the air shimmer. She looked up, and for a heartbeat, saw the bridge of light still faintly glowing in the sky. It was fading, but its reflection remained in the eyes of those who had dreamed. News began to spread. Quiet at first, then unstoppable. People in different countries describing the same dream, the same light. Scientists called it a collective resonance. Artists called it the return. But Elara knew the truth. It was the echo of the Dreamfire, alive in every heart. She returned to her lab, but it no longer felt like a place of study. It was a sanctuary, a crossroads between waking and dream. Kairos's voice lingered in her thoughts. As long as one remembers, the bridge will hold. She began recording her findings, though she knew the data could never explain the magic. At the end of her notes, she wrote one line: "The dream is not over. It's becoming." Outside, the sun rose higher, casting golden light across the horizon. Birds circled the air as if painting invisible constellations, and somewhere in the distance, a soft whisper brushed her ear. "Morpheus watches. Always." Elara closed her eyes, letting the wind move through her hair. In the rhythm of the world, she could still feel him, the Dream King, listening. She smiled. For the first time, she did not feel small or lost. She was part of something vast, ancient, and newly born. A world that dared to dream, and in doing so, began to awaken. Night returned, soft and quiet. The stars shimmered like embers from a forgotten fire. Elara sat on the balcony, watching the horizon breathe between darkness and light. The world felt different now, awake, yet dreaming. She held a small notebook, pages filled with fragments of thoughts, symbols, whispers. Every line carried echoes of the Dreamfire, not as a memory, but as a pulse within her. The city below glowed with faint golden tones, as if touched by unseen hands. People no longer feared sleep. They welcomed it. Dreams had become bridges, connecting hearts across oceans, across solitude. Elara closed her eyes and listened. She could hear laughter woven through the wind, stories traveling in silence, each one a spark, each one a flame. A gentle voice stirred in her thoughts, familiar, deep, eternal. "Morpheus," she whispered. The air shimmered and a ripple of light spread across the stars. "Dreambearer," the voice replied, warm as twilight. "Do you still see the fire?" Elara smiled faintly. "Everywhere. In them. In us." "Then the Dreamfire is alive," he said. "And it no longer belongs to me alone." She felt a quiet pride, not of ownership, but of belonging. "We built the bridge," she murmured. "Now they walk it every night." "Yes," Morpheus replied. "And in walking, they reshaped the world." Images drifted across the sky, dreams blooming like constellations. A child painting stars on the walls of her room. A poet writing verses that glowed in the dark. A scientist discovering music in the rhythm of light, each dream a thread in the great tapestry of the Dreamfire. Elara opened her notebook again. The last page was blank, waiting. She wrote slowly, each word a promise. "Dreams are not escape. They are remembrance." As she finished, a single spark floated from the page and joined the sky. The stars brightened, one by one, until the heavens burned with quiet brilliance. Morpheus's voice softened. "When they dream of hope, they call my name." But when they dream of creation, they call yours. Elara's heart swelled. Then let them call both, for we are the same light now. The night deepened. The wind carried scents of rain and starlight, and then a sound, a distant hum, rising from every sleeping mind on earth. The shared dream had grown stronger, weaving into reality itself. Elara stood, her face glowing in the moonlight. She looked to the stars, and for a heartbeat, saw Morpheus standing there, smiling. Not as a god, but as a friend. "Good night, Dream King," she whispered. "Until the next dream." He bowed his head, and the stars dimmed gently, like eyes closing in peace. Elara turned back to her notebook, her voice soft. "And so," she said, "the fire remains, not in the heavens, but in every soul that dares to imagine." The wind sighed, the world slept. The dream continued, endless, luminous, alive.